Hey everybody, welcome back to Underground Pulse, undergroundpulse.net. I am Jerica J.
I'm Shelly.
And I'm Big Amish.
And we are chilling here at Samazama here in Westport, downtown Kansas City, hanging out with Johnny from Nothing More. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm about to feel even better once I get some of this Japanese food in my belly.
Awesome, awesome. Now you guys are, is this your first headline tour?
This is our first national headline tour. We've done headlining, touring throughout the region, Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana. But this is the first tour we've actually had a band like Sleepwave with us. So I guess yes is the answer, kind of.
And this is the first actual kickoff date, right?
Well,
for you guys,
we had our first show as Sleepwave not last night, the night before.
Okay.
And we had a few shows before then, leading up to that. I think about 2 shows before that, or 3. I'm sorry.
I actually personally haven't heard of Sleepwave. What made you guys want to tour with those guys?
The lead singer was in a band called Under Oath for 10-something years, and we've always been big fans of them. And we heard he was doing a side project, and the stars aligned, and they were looking for a tour, and we were doing one looking for a band to tour with. And I'll be honest, it feels a little funny having him open for us because he's such a veteran and someone we've looked up to for a long time. I almost feel like we should be opening for him, but because his project is kind of brand new and they don't have the record out yet, it just worked out to where they play right before us and we finished the night. And it's a pretty cool little tour so far. They're really great guys.
Very, very nice.
It's awesome. So you guys were here not too long ago at Rockfest. And
Yeah.
And you kicked ass and you showed off this rig that you guys had made. And I'm just curious with the show, with the venue, you've seen the stage and where the crowd is going to be. Are you going to do that tonight?
Yes, there might be injuries or death, but we'll have to. When we're in smaller clubs like this, we always warn the people up front ahead of time and try to push them back when we start doing the bass solo, because we actually did a video online. If you look it up, it's called, I think it's Nothing More Safety, public safety announcement or something. And what we did was we got a watermelon and put safety glasses on it, drew a face on it, and put it in front of Drumtron, is what we call the big metal drum structure that holds the bass spinning metal thing of death, or whatever you want to call it. And we actually spun it around and simulated what would happen to your head if it was right in front of it, and it's not pretty. So we do our best to make sure nobody gets hurt, but in these small club shows it is a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And we talked with Daniel at Rocklahoma, and he was kind of saying that you guys have been asked to get insurance for yourselves because of this rig.
Yeah, we actually have insurance now, so if someone does die, we're not too worried about it now. So we're a little more haphazard. I'm just kidding. No, we didn't have insurance for years, and we did some things that, looking back now, if something would have gone wrong, because there was many very close situations where, some drunk dude comes up to the front of the stage, is not paying attention, and just almost gets clobbered. And we now have insurance that we pay a pretty penny for every month, but it really ensures that we don't get wiped out if somebody gets hurt.
That you and your lovely wife actually got matching tattoos, is that right?
Yeah, we did. It was, I only have 2 tattoos right now, but that one is about 1/4 of the size of the one I've had done about 3 times just because I like it bold and had it filled in. But it hurt more than all 3 of these on my left arm because it was right on my tendon on my right foot. For some reason, the nerves there, I thought it would be less painful. It hit a lot of nerves down there, evidently. But yeah, we got one, the Roman numerals of the day we got married, which was, there was significance beyond just the marriage. It was on 222, which has always been my lucky number since high school. And I had a lot of weird coincidences with that number. And even when I proposed to her, it turned out I hadn't looked at my phone in hours because we had been hiking up in Colorado, and she asked if I was ready to leave, and I had been delaying asking her to marry me or proposing because I was nervous. And turns out like I said, I hadn't looked at my phone in a few hours, and I pulled my phone out, and it was 2:22, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll do it now, that mixed with a few other long stories, it made it a special number, so we both put it on.
How very, very sweet.
Aw, I got goosebumps.
It seems that she's continually supportive of you guys. Is there ever come a time where you're on the road and the relationship has any issues, or you just always together?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Of course. It's really good right now because there's a lot happening, and it makes it more difficult because I'm busier and more occupied. So that is the tough part of it being as busy as it is. But the flip side of that is there's a lot of good things happening, which translates to us as getting a bigger, better tour bus sooner, which means I could actually bring her on the road, and if we can make more money sooner, then I can have her quit her job, and we can just, be based on my income. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. There's some good things that are giving us hope, but at the same time, it is really tough right now because we did just get married, and people ask me how married life is, and I always tell them I have no idea because I've been gone. Like, we literally got married, went on our honeymoon, and then I got home. The day after I got home, I was like, well, see you later. And I've been home, the month of July, we had just a little bit of time together, and that's been about it. So I'm going to be gone for the rest of the year until about Christmas. So it's tough to do the whole long distance thing, but we've been together for 5 years before we got married. So, we're ready for it. We know what we're in for.
That's good. That's awesome. So, a little birdie told us that you guys in the band used to be in a youth group band together.
Yeah.
So how did you transition from that band to now you want to do nothing more?
Well, I met Mark, our guitar player, at a summer camp that was put on by the church that we went to. So we knew each other through this church that our families went to. And then Daniel, the bass player, he was a little bit older than me. I met him at school, but he also went to that same church. And he was playing bass in the youth band. And as a kid, every Sunday my parents drug me to church whether I wanted to go or not. And Wednesdays were kind of the youth night. And I would go there just because that was really the only outlet I had to play drums somewhere. I really just wanted to play. And so I got involved with the band and ended up, making the cut. I auditioned, did all this stuff, and Daniel was older than me at the time, so I looked up to him. Now we're adults, and he's just a punk like anybody else. But I looked up to him, and I started drumming with him in the band, and it was like, I don't know, it's probably the best thing we could have done as musicians, because unless you're, I don't know, in something really competitive or taking lessons every day after school or something, you don't have a lot of opportunities to perform in front of people, which is a very different thing to practice and get accustomed to than just rehearsing in your room. And so being in the youth band allowed us to basically have to perform 2 shows every Sunday and 2 shows every Wednesday. And so you ended up playing, a lot every week for a kid that's in high school in front of a large group of people. There's a few hundred kids there. So that really, I think, kind of helped hone in our skills, and then making the transition from doing that to playing clubs. I was always playing shows on Saturday nights because I was in this band since I was in 7th grade.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've always been kind of doing that too. And I don't know, the transition was fine, I guess. It was just different.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you say is your favorite song to play live?
I want to know this as well.
That's a really good question. I'd say my favorite song is Salem because I'm a drummer. In my heart, I'm a drummer first, and so that song allows me to just beat the shit out of the drums for you know, a good amount of time, and so that one makes me happy. I don't have to focus on singing so much. It's a little bit more about the energy and the angst and all that with that song, so it's fun.
Yeah. And where do you guys come up with all of these ideas? Because not only do you play on the drums, you have drums off to the side that everyone else bangs on. Where does all this come from?
Slipknot references.
Well, I was in drumline in high school, so I did marching band for a while and traveled, and I was always a part of an ensemble of drummers. So when I started touring after high school with the guys, I was always asking, well, how can we all start playing the drums somehow? Because that's what I've been doing for the last year or so before I graduated. And I always thought, it was just a matter of getting Mark and Dan involved because they're rhythmic. Even though they're not drummers technically, but they can drum. And so that's where we got the idea of having the toms on the side on each side next to them, so we could actually incorporate everyone at moments.
Awesome. I have a question. I'm a singer too, and I wanted to kind of ask you this as a vocalist, because I've seen your live videos, and you have a natural vibrato, but then you take your two fingers and you press in on your throat to kind of force a little extra wide.
Yeah, I use what I call a manual vibrato, as well as a natural vibrato. And a natural vibrato is what you see most singers do, where their voice kind of wobbles or fluctuates just based on how the wind comes out of their pipes, and naturally does that with a lot of singers. And the manual vibrato is just where I use my hand more in a rhythmic sense to create a much faster, mechanical sounding wiggle or vibrato on the note that you can't really do it quite like that without using your hand. So it's just a different sound. It's like just looking at it like a tool in the toolbox. And just like, guitar players have different licks, like a whammy bar, or they have a different pedal. That's all that is,
I always thought it was kind of like the manual auto-tune without the pitch correction. You just kind of had that little oomph in there. Does it hurt if you do it too often, or?
It can, but I've gotten to a point where it's pretty easy to do.
Keep that in mind.
Alright, so if I remember right, you guys are going to Dirt Fest here soon.
Yep.
Are you excited about it? Like, what are there bands that you're looking forward to catching even on that show?
Yeah, we're all really excited about Dirt Fest. Of course, there's a ton of amazing bands, so it's hard to only pick a few, but a few that I'm really looking forward to is Head PE, just because I've never seen them live.
Oh,
and
they're amazing.
I'm really interested to see what that's like. Killswitch Engage is always great live, so I'm probably going to watch them again if I get the chance. Other than that, we played with Battlecross with Killswitch Engage. They're like a little more brutal than what I typically listen to, but they're still really good.
Battlecross played at Aftershock a while back. They were phenomenal.
Oh, they did.
Great guys.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. We actually hung out with them at Denny's after our last show on tour, and I kid you not, the waitress asked us if we wanted penis pancakes. And we were like, what the hell is that? And we said, well, we don't want them, but you'll give them to that table, which was where the Battlecross guys were sitting. And so she literally came out with penis-shaped pancakes. And they
awesome.
Flipped out and loved it. And anyway, other than that, those are the two that are sticking out to me right now. But there's a lot of bands there that I don't even know. Oh, one I do want to throw a shout out to, a band called No Life. They're a band that I met the singer. They're from Detroit, I believe. But I met that singer. I'm blanking out on his name right at the moment, but years ago. And they were good friends with a band that we used to play with, Fair to Midland, which is a band we loved playing with for a long time. Worth checking out if you're listening right now. Go check out Fair to Midland. But anyway, to wrap it up, that's what I'm interested in seeing.
Awesome.
Good lineup.
You may have already answered my next question, but I was going to ask who's a band on your iPod that we should look up.
Okay. So I'm looking at my Spotify artists and my iTunes artists, and I would say, Meshuggah's one where if you're on the heavier side of things,
Yes.
Meshuggah's like definitely pumps me up. It's like I don't even know how to describe it, but you just get in this kind of hypnotic zone listening to them. It's really weird. It's almost like how I feel when I listen to a lot of Tool songs. The way they structure everything rhythmically. Another band that really pumps me up is, I actually just started listening to them recently, is a band called Monuments. They have a song called I the Creator. Definitely worth looking up.
I don't think we've heard of them. Have you ever heard
I
of them?
wouldn't say I've seen the name, but I'll have to check it out. It might have popped up on my Pandora before.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy. I haven't listened to all their stuff yet, so I still, got to give it some time before I can fully recommend it, if you will. But that song, I the Creator, is really, really good. Other than that, I'm always jamming, 12-Foot Ninja and Carnival and Dead Letter Circus, and Woven War's a new band on the scene.
Yes.
As LA Dying's new project. So I've only heard one song from them, but I've been blasting that song a lot.
All Rise, perhaps?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their other tracks are amazing as well. I think you'll dig them. So I follow them quite closely. I was a huge As I Lay Dying fan. All right. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for coming to visit us. And, of course, next time you're in town, we hope to get to show with you guys again.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening and haven't picked up the brand, it's still new. The recently self-titled album.
Newish.
It's in Best Buy and iTunes and all that stuff. So make sure to go check it out. Is there anything coming up that you want to give us a sneak peek about?
Don't tell anybody, but we're trying to get a tour organized right now that would have some would be just an amazing lineup. And I don't know who I can mention quite yet, but Woven War is one that we're talking to, and Periphery might be a part of that as well, and Sleepwave. I don't even know yet. There might be some other bands, something we're going around just talking about, and that might be really, really cool. We'll see.
Well, if you need a tour roadie, feel free to take ours. He's very good at what he does.
Keep it in mind. I would love to.
Forget corn dogs.
Well, you don't really matter that much.